lenses, they're blinding for everyone. You're welcome. Good job, tech guys. Blair, if you would kick it. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Derek is saying something different. Something chest hair. So in case you were wondering if this was a video. iPhone everybody. You have it muted, I think, Blair. Well, maybe it. Yeah, we should probably defrag our hard drive. Okay, someone start the poll whether or not the controller works. Alright? Is it lit up? Lights again. Lights again. On the house? Alright, is that coming down? It feels like it's coming down. I can see you, that's a good sign. I think that's what's happening. Alright, let's take this one again from the top. Okie dokie. Thank you for your patience, everyone. We appreciate this. We totally tested it. I swear to God. Yeah, but if you're wondering why we're not shipping this year.
I hope you're prepared, First Enchanter. The Inquisitor has brought us a long way through the circle. Rest assured, dears, I'm never truly out of my element.
Outflexed by the ladies again. Trustwood isn't far. Let's be good neighbors and deal with that outlaw problem.
Now before we start moving, let's take a quick look around. This is Crestwood. This area is bigger than any area that we've ever made. Bigger than all of Dragon Age 2 put together. It would actually take you 15 minutes to run across in a straight line, if that was even possible to start the mountain in the way. And actually, this is far from the biggest area in Dragon Age Inquisition. Mike, why don't you start walking us through?
Sure, so Crestwood is part of Ferelden. Its Nation Origins was set in, you're kind of coming home, but it's one that wasn't too heavily touched by the Blight. But more importantly, it's a place we've already been. We're a fair ways into the game here, and at this point, the Inquisition already has a presence in this region. The Inquisitor's troops are here, our men are in place, and in response to that, we've received a counterattack. The enemies are coming, they're trying to take the keep that we hold and that we use to maintain our presence. This is bad news, but the Inquisitor comes to this kind of thing because as Inquisitor, you're an inspiration as much as you are a leader. And being there on the front lines is absolutely important to maintain the morale and to maintain the position that you hold. As we come down to the water, you can see the warboats coming in. We're in the middle of essentially a live event that's occurring, and also a coruscation of green energy. I love the word coruscation. What that is a side effect of that massive hole in the veil we talked about, the tear. These rifts are opening up throughout the world. Demons are pouring out, undead are coming back, magic is going crazy, and each and every one of them represents a real threat to the stability and safety of everyone that's nearby. This one, in particular, is troublesome because it's underwater. It's very hard for us to reach, but long term, the Inquisition would try to find a way to reach it and seal it, if at all possible. But we'll leave that for the main game. We've got a fight coming up because obviously we're under attack, and one thing I want to make very clear, Inquisition does not automatically level its enemies to match yours. Come to it? Yeah. You know what that means. Let's do some fighting. sword swings, which feel extra physical and weighty. Of course, you have direct control over your camera. We want to give you the camera that fits your playstyle. And here, conversation is another version of that.
Your Eminence, the call to defend Crestwood. It wasn't outlaws like we thought. It's Red Templars. They attacked the village to draw us out, and then a larger force assaulted the keep. The old tunnels, Inquisitor. They'll be inside the walls before we can rally.
Now these are my men. They're here, some of them are hurt, and it's up to me to choose what happens next. You remember we said we didn't want to spoil too much of the story. Well, this event seemed like a perfect place to talk about the burden of leadership without giving too much away. And in this case, you see options to stay with the wounded, regroup, and head to the keep. But something I want to call out, you'll notice that additional choice bar, and that is optional. You turn it on and off, but what we want to be sure is that whenever you're making a choice that has a direct action, the head, that the paraphrase is absolutely clear. So if you want to make certain, you know exactly what role you'll take. There it is, right there for you. Yep, let's regroup.
Get every able soldier on their feet. I want you defending the keep.
Inquisitor, of course.
Leave the wounded and go to the keep. What about Crestwood?
Crestwood needs the Inquisition strong.
Now without consequence, choices relatively meaningless, and we've put a big emphasis on consequence. They range from the big to the little. Obviously here, our men are going to go to the keep. That's going to affect our gameplay, but also you heard Varric is upset. And relationships with your companions, how they feel about you, how they feel about the decisions you're making, remain a huge focus for the Dragon Age franchise and for Dragon Age Inquisition.
The Red Templars may spare it.
We sent their home to the keep. Come on, Inquisitor. Let's get over there.
Now, in Dragon Age Inquisition, actions speak louder than words. We can head down there and try to protect Crestwood Village, even though we sent our men to the keep. You make that decision, the world reacts to the decision you make, and then you have to react to the world as it now stands. But we're going to maintain consistency, we're going to keep our going to the keep. In order to avoid any more troops at this point, we're actually going to leave the road.
Now in Inquisition, a big thing we're trying to focus on as well is making sure that we move to an understanding of how you interact with the world. It should go a little deeper than press A to do X. That's fine for doors, it's fine for simple interactions, but sometimes we want to test whether or not you've come prepared, whether or not you can seize an opportunity, whether that's a dark cave, you need a light to go in, or as we see here, these warboats are pulled up, and the Red Templars that control them are long-term enemies, so we can actually burn them to cut off the retreat, weaken them further. And of course, we put a huge effort into locomotion, making sure that if you're stuck in mud, you sure feel it. Now here, we're using anti-venom fire. It's a potion you keep equipped on your belt. You'll have a limited number, but you can use it to burn the boats, rather than press A to burn them. And if you had a fireball with your mage, you could achieve the exact same effect. Coming ready is a big part of exploring the world that we're creating. So we make our way through here as well. You'll notice we're in, like I said, in the middle of a live event. You can see the time ticking down. This keep strength is falling. This gives us a definite imperative. And something I want to make absolutely clear. We could pull a red cliff. We could turn around, head on out, and literally everything would fall. We are really the tipping point as these characters, but it is a valid gameplay option, but not without consequence, as we'll see later. Here, you will notice.
Finish them quick! That thing will
Let's talk about teamwork for a minute, because in Dragon Age games you can always switch to take direct control of any member of your party. You can do that here as well. Facing a giant monster like this, we're going to use Cassandra. Switch over to her abilities, which are built in order to help deal with him. She can use a rock armor potion to toughen herself up, of course. We can use her warlord ability to catch its attention, keep him focused, and with it staying close, she can then use her armor break. It's a special shield bash available to those kinds of warriors that can shatter the armor you'll see around its health bar. Eliminating it leaves it wide open for the rest of the party to take it down. things to note in the aftermath of a fight. First thing is, your health does not automatically recover. Once you've received your wounds, they stick around for quite some time until you return back to your home base or rest at a camp. This means that you need to be careful with how you're healing. With potions, you only have a limited number. You won't be able to carry stacks of thousands of lesser healing potions anymore. Sorry. Because we're aiming for a more realistic feel. And there's actually an ultimate goal to this. With limited healing, limited health, and no automatic recovery, we're asking you to think about the adventure, not just a single encounter. I don't want you to feel comfortable when you see 3 wolves. I want you instead to consider whether they're worth avoiding, whether they're worth engaging, or whether they're something you want to tackle in order to get their hides or the XP.
So at this point, we're actually going to jump ahead a little bit in time until after we would have finished securing our key.
Demo magic.
Heh.
Thank you. So are you. I'm sorry, I can't see.
Prepared. Those things don't get a second chance at us.
So if you recall, there was some trebuchets firing at the keep earlier. Let's head over that way and make sure
We had time to defend them, thanks to the soldiers you sent back.
Okay, it looks like my man had things at hand, so I'm actually going to have us go up onto that bridge and take a quick look around. Now, as you can see, we're just scratching the surface of this area here today. This area is vast, and we're only seeing a tiny part of it. Let's head over to Crestwood Village to assess the damage that's occurred. Now, on the right here, you can see another cave. Caves actually are something you can enter seamlessly. There will be no load screen, and there will be caves dotting the landscape throughout Dragon Age Inquisition. In Dragon Age, we want decisions to have consequence in the world and to your game. Decisions in Dragon Age Inquisition are tough, and they have hard-hitting consequences. In many cases, the decisions you make will have lasting implications. Content will be unlocked, you'll get access to things you would not otherwise get.
Back. There's nothing to be gained by going there now.
Come on, Seeker. Don't you want to see our handiwork?
In some cases, doors will be closed forever. This is one of the smaller examples of Dragon Age reacting to your decisions. We're showing you how this is actually locked away content, removed it from the game. What we're going to do is we're going to load a game in a different place and show you how you can actually unlock content.
Now in Inquisition, you'll be traveling all across the world. You'll be going to snowy mountain passes, demon-infested bogs, barren deserts, and more. And with this next load, we're going to go to a place called the Western Approach. It is on the opposite side of the map. It's far to the west in Orlais, and it's a barren desolation for us to visit.
Now this is by far the biggest game our studio has ever made. Dragon Age Inquisition is made of large, distinct areas, letting you explore a lot more of the world. from Western Orlais to Eastern Ferelden. This is ultimately a game of nations, so we couldn't confine you to a single city or a single province. All the regions you visit have a significance to the Inquisition. There's a reason for you to go there, and a reason that draws you in the first place. But once you get there, each region is huge and expansive, allowing you countless opportunities for exploration and discovery.
You know, the obvious question is, well, what do you do there? And that's the thing. The Western approach, while large, is full of secrets. It's a place that was once held by the Dementor Empire. More recently, the Grey Wardens built a line of fortresses and watchtowers along the Abyssal Rift to defend against the Darkspawn during the Second Blight. And in the timeline for Inquisition, the cult, directly opposed to our goals, has moved into this area to try and uncover the secrets long buried in the sands. Most importantly, the Inquisition has no real stronghold here. We don't have a presence in the way we would. So, as this leads us to explore, the thing to note is that there's all kinds of opportunities. Every landmark you see as we look around, those are all places you can go, things you can explore and visit. And we want to get that sense of real exploration. No quests holding your hand. There's a cave system you can see sort of the start of down there. You may not ever be told to go there. We want to get back to the idea of true discovery.
That's
that
terrifying.
you, friend, have gone through this area and potentially found stuff that neither of you ever saw in the other game. That's our ultimate goal. Now, of course, Inquisition is fundamentally a game party-based. And the party members, of course, continue to banter and chatter amongst themselves as you explore, but they also can offer help. They can spot things, they can call things out, things you might not otherwise see.
What's there on the cliff face?
Something very, very safe, given the environment.
Now this gives us a long-term goal. How do we reach that cave? Or, you know, two long-term goals. The whole valley there is filled with the noxious gas, almost impossible for us to get in. And of course, we now realize there's a dragon in the area. We want to make sure that large threats like dragons or enemy fortresses are always visible, something that you are aware of. Grow in understanding. And of course, they become part of your long-term plan as you play. Speaking of, this keep you can see in the distance here is one that we've been working on in this save. We've had a plan to try and weaken it. We've drawn its troops out to kind of, attack them outside the walls. We've managed to poison the well. So it's in worse shape than it normally would be. And a keep like this is a very tough fight. Well, tougher outside of the demo, to be honest. But the simple truth is that, by weakening it, we're actually able to gain some significant ground. But that's all long-term planning. Short-term, there's a number of significant things we can do in order to improve our odds when we're facing a superior force. The first thing is, of course, your equipment. A very vital part of Inquisition. Here we can look through our weapons and find that, 46, very powerful First Inquisitor's flame, a huge two-handed sword. But we've heard you guys like to change your party's equipment. And you may notice they're all wearing different armors than they were in Crestwood, because you can absolutely do that. You can change the weapons within their class as well. So let's pull that sword out and take a look, if we could. Inquisition features our Thedas crafting system today. You will be able to forge your own weapons and your own armor and give them the silliest names. Whatever. As well as an incredibly intense alchemy system to carry more potions and so on. But all that is great. We've even got some situational things. You notice the enemies there are not immediately charging us. We don't want battles to get up in your face. We want to give you time to prepare. We want to give you time to execute a strategy, to think tactically. But we know there's a specific way you guys like to do that, and that sometimes that requires a change of perspective. every platform. It has never been impacted. And with it, of course, you can, in pause time, you can issue orders, tell your characters to move to different points, set their targets, tell them to use abilities, leave ice traps. All of that can be done as part of your long-term strategy. And then, without changing your perspective, you can choose to engage. Start time, continue moving with the most free-floating camera we've ever had, then take your next steps. Continue with your plan, lay it out, and then at any time, return back to full action play over the shoulder, third person. It's up to you how you want to play.
It'd be nice to do that with Garrus.
Now, keep, of course, not really worth its name if its doors are wide open. It's hard for, it should be hard for you to attack. And whether or not you need to find the bolt hole, make your way through a series of tunnels to get in here, fight your way around the back because it's not the most solid keep, or potentially, as I said, have you brought the right tools for the job? Maybe you expect one of your warriors to be an absolute battering ram, as we have with Cassandra, and you can just knock.
Enemies on the walls and expendables girding them. My dear, we render them all expendable.
Woo!
Now, interacting with your environment is a huge part of Inquisition. It should be not just something when you're exploring, but also as part of your battle plans. And as we can see here, we've got a line of soldiers there, but archers up on that bridge. They would be absolutely difficult to reach. We'd have to climb ladders or make our way around to the walls. But we noticed our bridge is a little bit rickety, giving us a huge opportunity to freeze these guys in place.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Support. Enemies are at their best when they're challenging you in different ways, not just being tough or big sacks of hit points. That great gladiator here has a huge shield deflecting arrows, deflecting spells, making it very hard to take it down unless you use teamwork to properly flank him. Sometimes you even have to open up new routes to reach him in the course of that. Together a little more intelligently.
I'm ready to start! Light is nothing! He will reign!
So we're facing an enchanter. He's a very powerful mage who can add benefits to his allies, causing the archers to fire arrows. He can throw lifts down on the ground, making it very treacherous for us to move around. So our first goal is to cut him off, try and isolate him, and make sure the archers don't have clear lines of fire using a wall of ice.
Oh my god.
More than just destroying parts of the battlefield, we want to make sure you can create zones of your own advantage and do so on the fly. Now the enchanter has very thick magical enchantments protecting him, making him very tough to kill, but using the spell we can tear those down, again leaving him wide open.